Chevra Bezrat Hashem, Lekavod Shabbos Kodesh Chevra. 4 days until Shabbos, 6 until Rosh Hashanah, 90 until Hanukkah. 90 days. We start the countdown at 160. While we're having vision for Hanukkah, we have to live right now. We have to work our way back. And there's a lot coming up, and there's a lot going on right now. So Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael for Pesach, Reuven ben Yosef Asar Baruch Bas Yehudis, Yonah Bas Bas Ashir Bas Bas Sinai, Reuven ben Mani, and for Refuah for Yosef Gidon Yaakov ben Panima. Kavra. Before we do the Tefillah, we're gonna prepare with the Tefillah. Where we quoted, I think, Sanzer Rav. Once he said that before Shemona Esrei he would always pray that he should be able to pray. So, Chaver, this is it. We hereby accept upon ourselves the mitzvah of love your fellow Jew like yourself. And behold, we love every Jew unconditionally, like our own soul and essence, with great devotion. And with our prayers, we have in mind to judge every Jew favorably, and may our prayers be for Hashem's honor and for His sake with love. So a couple prayers. Master of the world, have mercy on the Jewish people and give them the knowledge that Avat Yisrael is the most important mitzvah in the world. Master of the world, have mercy on the Jewish people and give them the knowledge that the level you are on reflects your Avat Yisrael. Master of the world, have mercy on the Jewish people. May every Jew have a good heart. Master of the world, have mercy on the Jewish people. May every Jew have a good eye. Cover Bezrat Hashem. Many more prayers. Thank you so much to Rav Shalom Arush. Also, I got this in loving every Jew unconditionally. In Efrat, none other than Rav Shlomo Katz's shul. It says here in the back. It says here in the back of the little packet. Sefer Amidot. Rabbi Nachman, someone who prays with great devotion for the Jewish people, is loved by all. Chevra, Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael Mamash. So halacha l'maisa, we're continuing with Rosh Hashanah Tefillah halachos. So here we go on Rosh Hashanah, when we're reciting the prayer of our Father, our King. We have sinned before you. One should strike his chest. One should not strike his chest with his fist at this point, as he would when reciting the Avinu Malkeinu prayer during the week or on Yom Kippur. So, however, not because confession is not recited on Rosh Hashanah, as it is a festival. Instead of reciting this part of the prayer as a confession, he should have the following explanation in mind. In the case of Shulchan Aruch is now going to help us understand the first 3 verses of this prayer. So it does not constitute a personal confession of sins, but a more general prayer. And these verses are Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu L'Fanecha, Avinu Malkeinu In Lanu Melech Ela Ata, Avinu Malkeinu Asei Manu Man Shemecha. So the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is going to help us understand those 3 verses. Okay, so Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu L'Fanecha, right? Our Father and our King, we have sinned before you. Meaning, we refers to our forefathers who have sinned before you, for they worship foreign gods. But we ourselves have no king but you. Therefore, our Father and our King, deal kindly with us for your name's sake. All right, interesting. Hashem, halakha l'maisa. Halakha l'maisa. Chavra, this is a big one. And wow. So chavruta with Hashem and I. And with the YouTube Chavra. So we're on part 5 of Sichot Haran 86. We're talking about wedding customs. To be honest with you, very difficult. I'm sure it's easy for you guys, but very difficult to understand. For my limited understanding, very limited understanding. But there's one line, Chavra, and we'll get into it right now. The first line. So let's start right now. Part 5. The revelation at Sinai was a wedding. Chavra, let's remember that line very well. It is written in Shir Shirim, his mother crowned him on his wedding day. This is the revelation at Sinai, says in Masechet Tani 26a. Right, so this revelation is referring to the wedding. Mount Sinai is also a ladder. See, this I need you guys to help me understand. Take the letters of the word Sinai and turn them into numbers, and the gematria then gives you Sulam, which means a ladder. This is the ladder in Yaakov's dream. It is written, "Behold the ladder, behold the angels of God went up and down on it." Right, this is in Bereshit. The dancers go up and down, like we said yesterday, with the Shabbos money, throwing them at the dancers, and the dancers are whirling and spinning, and they were dividing the spoils. That's what we went over. So the dancers go up and down and raising and lowering their bodies. They dance on the ladder of Sinai the day of the wedding. All right. Honestly, just a crazy thought. I think this is Sichot around 40. Maybe I have it here. I'm not sure. Sichot around 40. Talking about the dreidel. Yeah, I think it's Sichot around 40. However, this could be it because based off my dad's explanation and Moshe Shef, right? The dancers are like could be the lowest people, yet the highest. Sichot around 40, we all know low is high, high is low. Head is foot, foot is head. Everything is a rotating wheel. Man is angel, angel is man. I don't know, maybe it's referring to that. I don't know. Maybe just a thought. But chavra. I'm sorry, Rabbeinu. This is a hard one. But the first line, the revelation at Sinai was a wedding. What does this mean? Before the 3 weeks, we came across a shir from Rav Yossi Zagatinsky Shlita, which came out a couple of years ago. And it was sent to the chat, Baruch Hashem, and it's all about this exact line. The revelation at Har Sinai was a wedding. And then the next pasuk was Shir Shirim. His mother crowned him on his wedding day. So what does this all mean? Right, this revelation at Har Sinai. So we've been listening to the shir on and on and on, on repeat. Mamish, it's just in a nutshell, talks about all right, let's get into it right now. So I basically re-listened to the shir, wrote down word for word what Rav Yossi Zagatinsky was saying, and let's just share. It's the first 7 minutes of the 27-part shir. So let's just talk about the first couple of lines of this Rabbeinu Sicha. Right now that we're not pressure for time, let's just go. So Rav Yossi Zagatinsky opens up, and remember, and mind you guys, all of us, that this was 3 weeks before Tisha B'Av, right? So it was all about Beit HaMikdash, destruction of Beit HaMikdash, and rebuilding it, and getting back to that point of oneness of, with the Creator and Master of the world and the world around us. So the pasuk in Shir Shirim that Rabbeinu is quoting here, and we see that Chazal refers to it as a wedding day, okay? Which is also a Yom Simchas Liba, a day of rejoicing of their hearts. So Chazal says that the day of the wedding was receiving the Torah, right? Because that was Har Sinai. And Yom Simchas Liba is the Beis HaMikdash. So we have two things going on here. We have the Har Sinai and we have Simchas Libo, which is Beit HaMikdash. The pasuk is not talking about two different days, right? It's talking about the wedding, while it's also talking about Yom Simchas Libo. They're conjoined, they're together. So, Chavra, this is back. The Beit HaMikdash is described as a deepening of what Matan Torah, or the day of the wedding. That's what we're speaking about here. Chazal, Rabbi Nachman, really is. Meaning, whenever there's a wedding, there's two sides. There's two aspects to a wedding. There's the chassan and kala, and then there's the guests. Okay? The guests that were invited to the wedding. I'm sure you guys went to many weddings this summer. So this wedding took place between Hashem and the Jewish people. There is what it feels like to be guests, and that's what we felt at our Sinai. We didn't feel like chassan and kala. We felt like the guests at our Sinai. So, like we received the Torah, and then we received the Torah at our Sinai. We're like, all right, cool. So here are the list of things to do, and we'll do it. Right. So this day was called the wedding. We got an invitation, and we are doing exactly what we're being told. Right. We're dancing. We're being misameach, chassan v'kala, the whole thing. So Yom Simchas Libo, Chavra. What is Yom Simchas Libo? And remember, it's Beit HaMikdash. Yom Simchas Libo is Beit HaMikdash. Wedding is Har Sinai. It's a sense of what the chassan and kala are experiencing on their wedding day, which is different from the guests. So what does this mean? The guests at the wedding are experiencing something outside of themselves, right? They go to the wedding, they go home, and they're like, yalla, they move on with their lives, right? It's almost like going through the motions. But the chassan and kala, the day of the wedding, assumed by all of us, is life-changing. And right in that moment, there's no going back to going through the motions, right? What do we get on that day? It's the point of oneness. We get this feeling of oneness where chassan and kala can never be separated ever again, right? And this is the rest of the shir. This is the first 7 minutes of the shir, right? And then the next 27 talks about the whole Indian with Rabbi Kiva and how he really was the best example of this oneness, right? In the times of Galus and his whole story, and that's actually on Masechet in Masechet Ketuvot and beyond. Obviously, many more stories in other Masechtot, but the Daf Yomi cycle, from my understanding, just went through his story. So this is Simchas Libo, Chavra. The depth of the weddings that every experience of life is experienced from the prism of oneness. It's all oneness. And this was the Beit HaMikdash. What happened on our Sinai? We got married. But the Beit HaMikdash means that everything in life is part of that yichud between husband and wife in the Ribono Shel Olam. Right? We all know the example of Rav Aryeh Levine. Rav Aryeh Levine goes to the doctor with his wife's hand's hurting, and the doctor's like, what's going on? And he's like, our hand's hurting. Right, that oneness, mamash, you're living with that oneness. There's no separation. Right, and this was the Beit HaMikdash, and this is what we lost in Tisha B'av. We're still feeling the crumbs of Tisha B'av over here. Right, we've lost that lens through which we can see everything. Right, we can see that oneness, live with oneness, like Rabbi Kiva, like Rav Aryeh Levine, all the tzaddikim. We move from this chassan and kala to being guests at the wedding. So, Chavra, right now, we some may feel like guests, some may feel like chassan and kala, but it's Elul, it's mamash Elul, and we're entering into Rosh Hashanah very soon, 6 days. We have the Elul to prepare. We have the quotes in the back. We have all the Torahs in the world. But mamash, we're trying to get back to that point of oneness in Bezrat Hashem Chavra. From right now, 9:14 p.m. and for the rest of the week until Rosh Hashanah and beyond, for the rest of our lives, Bezrat Hashem, till May Basrim, we should really live with this oneness, like chassan and kala, with the Yom Simchas Libo, right? Like we're experiencing the wedding day as one, as chassan and kala. We're building that and beyond, and not being like guests. And just know that we shouldn't feel like guests entering into Rosh Hashanah. We should feel mamish like we're chassan and kala with the Ribono Shel Olam. So Bezrat Hashem, Chavra, Let's continue to strive for greatness. We'll continue tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, and I hope that was clear. Probably not.